In the pulsing heart of Lagos, where wealth casts long shadows, Amara, a hotel cleaner with dreams too big for her threadbare life, collapsed onto a billionaire's bed for a stolen moment of rest, only to wake up entangled in a deadly web of secrets that could topple an empire or claim her life. Lagos was a city that never slept, its pulse a chaotic symphony of honking danfos, street hawkers' cries, and the hum of ambition. Amara Okoye, 24, navigated its rhythm with the quiet resilience of someone who'd learned to survive on scraps. By day, she was a cleaner at the Eko Grand Hotel, a towering monument to wealth where Nigeria's elite and foreign moguls sipped champagne while she scrubbed their excess away. By night, she was a sister, a provider, a dreamer trapped in a tin-roofed shack in Ajigunal, where hope was as scarce as clean water. Amara's life was a grind of sore muscles and whispered prayers. Her hands, rough from bleach, moved with precision as she polished marble floors and changed silk sheets in rooms that cost more than her yearly wages. Her younger brother, Chidi, was her anchor. His bright eyes and stubborn cough a reminder of why she pushed through. Their mother was gone, taken by a fever the hospitals couldn't afford to treat, and their father had vanished long before. It was just Amara and Chidi against the world, and she'd do anything to keep him safe. Today, though, the world was winning. Amara hadn't slept in 2 days. Chidi's fever had spiked again, and she'd spent the night fanning him with a tattered newspaper, the power in their shack cut off for unpaid bills. Her body ached, her eyelids heavy as stones, as she pushed her cleaning cart down the 27th floor of the Eko Grand. The penthouse suite, room 2701, was her final task, a beast of a job reserved for Chief Olusegun Adebayo, an oil billionaire whose name carried the weight of power and fear. He was out of town, his staff had said, and the suite needed to be flawless for his return. Amara stepped into 2701, the air cool and scented with something rich, sandalwood maybe, or money itself. The suite was a shrine to excess. Gold-plated faucets, a bar stocked with bottles that gleamed like jewels, a bed so vast it could swallow her entire life. She started her routine, dusting the mahogany desk, wiping the mirrors until they sparkled, scrubbing the bathroom until it shone like a diamond. The bed was last, its white sheets crisp, untouched, begging to be smoothed. Her hands lingered on the fabric. It was softer than anything she'd ever touched, like a whisper of a better world. "Just a second," she murmured, glancing at the door. The hallway was silent, her supervisor nowhere in sight. Exhaustion clawed at her, her legs trembling from hours on her feet. She sat on the edge of the bed, promising herself just a moment to breathe. The mattress sank beneath her, cradling her like a lover's arms. She shouldn't have. She knew it was reckless, forbidden. But the pull was too strong. Amara lay back, her head sinking into the pillow, and sleep stole her like a thief in the night. She dreamed of her village in Anambra, of her mother's laughter and the smell of ugwa stew simmering over a fire. The dream shifted. Her mother's face faded, replaced by a city of gold where hunger didn't exist, where Chidi could go to school without her begging for scraps. She was floating weightless, free. A sharp click shattered the dream. Amara's eyes snapped open, her heart lurching into her throat. The room was dimmer now, the sun dipping below Lagos's skyline. How long had she been asleep? Panic surged as she scrambled to sit up, her cleaning rag still clutched in her hand like a lifeline. The step. Heavy, deliberate, echoing in the suite's vast silence. Someone was here. Amara slid off the bed, crouching behind its frame, her breath shallow and ragged. If her supervisor caught her, she'd be sacked on the spot. No warning, no second chance. If it was a guest, God forbid it was Chief Adebayo himself. Her job was her family's lifeline, the only thing keeping Chidi fed and clothed. She pressed herself against the bed's base, praying the shadows would swallow her whole. The footsteps stopped. A voice, deep and smooth as polished obsidian, cut through the air. "Who's in my room?" Amara froze, her heart a drumbeat in her ears. She squeezed her eyes shut, as if that could make her disappear. The voice came again, closer now, laced with a dangerous calm. "Come out, or I'll have security drag you out." There was no hiding. Amara stood, her legs trembling, and stepped into the light. Standing by the desk was Chief Olusegun Adebayo himself, his presence filling the room like a storm rolling in. He was younger than she'd imagined, maybe 40, with a face carved from stone, sharp cheekbones, a jaw that could cut glass, eyes that pinned her in place. His suit was tailored to perfection, but his gaze was a weapon, slicing through her defenses. "I'm sorry, sir," Amara stammered, her hands twisting the rag until her knuckles whitened. "I'm the cleaner. I didn't mean to. I was just sleeping in my bed." His tone was a blade, sharp but not cruel, with a hint of something else. Curiosity, maybe. He stepped closer, his polished shoes silent on the carpet. Amara felt like a sparrow before a hawk. "I was tired, sir," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "It was a mistake. Please don't report me. I need this job." He studied her, his eyes tracing her frayed uniform, her worn shoes, the fear etched into her face. Then, to her shock, he laughed, a low, rumbling sound that made her flinch. "What's your name?" "Amara, sir. Amara Okoye." "Amara," he said, as if tasting the word on his tongue. "You've got courage, Amara. Or maybe you're just reckless. Either way, you're in my bed, in my world. That's not a small thing." She swallowed, unsure if he was mocking her or testing her. "I'm sorry, sir. I'll leave now." "No," he said, raising a hand to stop her. "Not yet." He walked to the bar, pouring a glass of amber liquid that caught the light like liquid gold. "Tell me, Amara, why are you so tired you'd risk everything for a nap?" Her first instinct was to lie, to say it was nothing. But his eyes held her, demanding truth, and something in her broke open. The words spilled out. Chitty's fever, her mother's death, the shack in Ajigunal where the roof leaked and the air smelled of despair. She told him about the dreams she'd buried, the ones she didn't dare speak aloud, because dreaming in Lagos was like shouting into a storm. He listened, sipping his drink, his face a mask of unreadable thoughts. When she finished, he set the glass down with a soft clink. "You're honest," he said. "That's rare in my world." Amara didn't know what to make of that. Was he playing with her, a cat toying with a mouse? But before she could speak, he pulled a sleek phone from his pocket. "Give me your number." Her eyes widened. "Sir." "Your number," he repeated, his tone firm but not unkind. "I might have a use for someone like you." Her hands shook as she gave it to him, her mind screaming that this was a mistake, a trap. But what choice did she have? He typed it into his phone, then waved her toward the door. "Go. Finish your shift. And Amara, don't touch my bed again." She nodded, practically stumbling out of the suite. Her heart pounded as she pushed her cart down the hall, her thoughts a whirlwind. What had just happened? Why did a billionaire want her number? Was he going to fire her, or worse? Or was this something else, something she couldn't yet grasp? That night, Amara lay on her thin mattress in Ajigunal, Chitty's soft snores a comfort against the hum of the city outside. The shack was stifling, the air thick with kerosene and damp earth. Her phone buzzed, a jarring sound in the quiet. An unknown number. Her stomach twisted as she opened the message. "Meet me tomorrow, 8 p.m., Suite 2701. Tell no one." Oe. Her breath caught. Chief Adebayo. Her first thought was fear. Stories of powerful men and vulnerable women flashed through her mind, each one a warning. But there was something else, too. A spark of possibility, dangerous and bright. She'd seen his eyes, the way they softened when she spoke of Chitty. Maybe this was a door, not a trap. The next day, Amara worked her shift with a knot in her gut. Her colleagues teased her for being distracted, but she kept Adebayo's message locked tight in her chest. At 7:55 p.m., she stood outside Suite 2701. Her cleaning smock swapped for a borrowed dress that felt too tight, too foreign. Her heart thundered as she knocked. The door opened, and Adebayo stood there. His suit impeccable but his energy restless, like a lion pacing its cage. "Come in," he said, gesturing to a leather couch. The suite was different tonight. papers scattered on the desk, a laptop glowing faintly, the air charged with secrets. "Sit," he said, and she did, her hands clasped to keep them from shaking. He didn't sit, pacing instead, his movements sharp and precise. "Amara, what I'm about to tell you stays in this room. If you speak of it, you'll wish you hadn't." "Understood." She nodded, her throat dry as dust. "I'm in trouble," he said, stopping to face her. "The kind of trouble that brings empires down. Someone's got something on me. Documents, recordings, things that could destroy everything I've built. My company, my name, my family. I need someone I can trust to find out who and why." Amara's eyes widened. "Me? Why me?" "Because you're nobody," he said, his bluntness like a slap. "No one notices a cleaner. No one suspects you. And yesterday you told me your truth without flinching. I need that now." Her mind reeled. A billionaire asking her, a girl from Ajigunal, for help? It was absurd, terrifying, and yet something in her stirred. The part of her that had carried Chitty through fevers, that had faced down landlords and hunger, that had dared to dream despite it all. "What do I have to do?" she asked, her voice steadier than she felt. He smiled, a flicker of approval in his eyes. "Watch. Listen. There's a man, Victor Igbokwe, a fixer who trades in secrets. He's meeting someone at the hotel bar tomorrow night. You'll be there, cleaning, listening. I'll get you a new uniform, one for the bar staff. Blend in. Don't stand out." Amara's heart raced. She was stepping into a world of shadows, where one wrong move could cost everything. But she thought of Chitty, of the house they could have, the future she could build. "And if I do this," she asked, "what do I get?" His smile widened. "Name your price." "A house," she said, her voice firm. "A real one, not a shack. And enough to send Chitty to university." "Done," he said without hesitation. "But Amara, this is a dangerous game. Trust no one, not even me." Amara's borrowed dress clung to her skin as she stood outside Suite 2701. Her pulse hammering in her ears. The Eko Grand Hotel's 27th floor was silent, but the air felt heavy, like the calm before a Lagos thunderstorm. Chief Olusegun Adebayo's words echoed in her mind. "Trust no one, not even me." She was a cleaner from Ajigunal, a nobody, yet here she was, about to step into a game of secrets that could topple a billionaire's empire. Her brother Chitty's future, a house, a university education, hung on her courage. But so did her life. The door opened, and Adebayo's presence filled the frame. His tailored suit sharp but his eyes restless, like a man who'd seen his own grave. "You're on time," he said, stepping aside. "Good. We don't have much." Amara entered, the suite's opulence a stark contrast to her racing thoughts. Papers were strewn across the desk, a laptop glowing with numbers she couldn't decipher. Adebayo gestured to a leather couch, but she stayed standing, her hands clasped to hide their trembling. "You said Victor Igbokwe," she said, her voice steadier than she felt. "What do I do?" He didn't sit either, pacing like a caged lion. "Victor's a fixer, a snake who trades in secrets. He's got something, recordings, documents, that could ruin me. He's meeting his buyer at the hotel bar tomorrow night, 9 p.m. You'll be there, in a bar staff uniform, listening. You hear everything, you report to me. Nothing else." Amara's stomach twisted. "Why is he after you? What's in those recordings?" His eyes flicked to her, sharp and guarded. "You don't need to know that. Just do what I ask." "No," she said, surprising herself with her boldness. "If I'm risking my life, I need to know what I'm fighting for." Adebayo stopped pacing, his gaze narrowing. For a moment she thought she'd pushed too far. Then he sighed, running a hand over his face. "Fine. Years ago I made a deal, an oil pipeline contract with foreign investors. It wasn't clean. Bribes, threats, things that could land me in prison or worse. Someone recorded it all. Meetings, calls, my voice. Victor's got those recordings, and he's selling them to someone who wants me out of the game." Amara's mind spun. She'd heard whispers about Adebayo, oil money, political games, power bought with blood. But hearing it from his lips was different, heavier. "Who's the buyer?" she asked. "I don't know," he admitted. "That's why I need you. You're invisible, Amara. No one sees a cleaner, a waitress. You can get close without being noticed." Invisible. The word stung, but it was true. Her whole life she'd been unseen. By guests, by her supervisor, by the city itself. Now that invisibility was her weapon. "What if Victor notices me?" she asked. "He won't," Adebayo said. "Not if you're careful. My driver will get you the uniform and a staff pass. Blend in. Don't speak unless you have to. And after?" She pressed. "You promised me a house, Chitty's school. How do I know you'll keep your word?" His smile was thin but genuine. "Because I need you, Amara. You pull this off, and I'll give you more than you asked for. But fail, and we both lose everything." The next evening, Amara stood in the staff changing room, staring at her reflection in a cracked mirror. The bar staff uniform, black shirt, sleek skirt, felt like a costume, transforming her from cleaner to spy. Her heart thudded as she tucked her hair into a neat bun, her hands shaking. She wasn't just wiping tables tonight. She was stepping into a world of predators, and one wrong move could end her. The Eko Grand's bar was a glittering den of wealth, all velvet seats and dim lights, where glasses clinked and secrets whispered. Amara moved through it with a tray of cleaning supplies, her eyes scanning the crowd. Tycoons in igbadas, women in shimmering dresses, their laughter masking deals that shaped Lagos. She felt like an imposter, but she kept her head down, wiping tables, emptying ashtrays, blending into the shadows. Victor Igbokwe was easy to spot. He sat in a corner booth, lean and sharp-eyed. His suit understated but expensive. His smile was a blade, never reaching his eyes. Amara's pulse quickened as she moved closer, polishing a table just behind him, her ears straining to catch his words. A woman joined him, her heels clicking like a warning. She was tall, her wrapper tied in an elaborate knot, her face commanding attention. Amara didn't know her, but her presence screamed power. They spoke in hushed tones, the bar's hum swallowing most of their words. Amara edged closer, pretending to scrub a non-existent stain. "The recordings are secure," Victor was saying, his voice low and clipped. "Adebayo's getting paranoid, but he's blind. He won't see it coming." The woman leaned in, her voice barely audible. "You're sure? No loose ends?" Victor's smile tightened. "None. The leak's been handled. Permanently." Amara's stomach churned. A leak. Handled permanently. She didn't know what it meant, but it sounded like blood. She kept wiping the table, her hands moving on autopilot as she memorized every word. The woman slid an envelope across the table. "Final payment. Deliver tomorrow, rooftop lounge. 10 p.m. Don't disappoint me, Victor." He pocketed the envelope with a nod. "It's done." Amara's heart raced. She needed to get this to Adebayo, but how? She couldn't just walk into his suite with this kind of information. And then Victor's eyes flicked toward her. She froze, her rag mid-swipe, but he looked away, dismissing her as nothing. Relief flooded her, but it was short-lived. Her phone buzzed in her pocket, and she slipped into a staff bathroom to check it. A text from Adebayo. "What did you hear? Report now." She typed quickly, her fingers trembling. Victor met a woman. Talked about recordings, a leak handled permanently. Envelope exchanged. Meeting tomorrow, rooftop lounge, 10 p.m. She hit send, then deleted the message as he'd instructed. That night, Amara lay awake in Ajagunal. Chitty's snores a faint comfort against the city's restless hum. The shack's walls seemed to close in, the air thick with kerosene and fear. Victor's words, handled permanently, haunted her. Was she next? She was in too deep, but backing out wasn't an option. Not with Chitty's future on the line. The next day, Adebayo summoned her to a safe house in Surulere, a modest apartment far from the Eko Grand's glamour. He looked haggard, his suit rumpled, his eyes bloodshot. "You did well," he said, reading her message on his phone. "The woman, who is she?" "I don't know," Amara said. "But she's powerful. The way she moved, the way Victor listened to her. She's someone big." Adebayo nodded, his jaw tight. "The rooftop lounge tomorrow. That's where we end this. Victor's delivering the recordings to her. We need to get them first." "We?" Amara's voice rose. "You want me to go there? Victor saw me last night. He might recognize me." "You're still invisible," Adebayo said. "He saw a cleaner, not you. I'll have my team there, and you'll be a waitress again. Find the recordings, a USB, a drive, anything. Get it to me." Amara's stomach knotted. "And if I get caught?" "You won't," he said, but his eyes betrayed a flicker of doubt. "My driver will be outside. You're not alone." The rooftop lounge was a glittering crown atop the Eko Grand, where Lagos's elite sipped cocktails under a sky ablaze with stars. Amara moved through the crowd in a waitress uniform, a tray of drinks her shield. Her heart pounded as she scanned for Victor and the woman. Adebayo was there too, disguised in a simple agbada, his security team blending into the crowd. She spotted Victor first, in the same corner booth, the woman at his side. Her wrapper shimmered under the lights, her face a mask of authority. Amara's tray trembled as she moved closer, offering drinks to nearby guests, her ears straining. Victor slid a small USB drive across the table. "It's all here," he said. "Every word, every deal." Adebayo's finished. The woman, Esther Chukwu, Amara overheard, smiled coldly. "Good. My clients will be pleased." Amara's pulse spiked. She signaled Adebayo, who moved swiftly, his team closing in. But Esther's eyes caught Amara's, narrowing with recognition. "You," she hissed, standing. "The cleaner." Before Amara could react, Esther lunged, knocking the tray from her hands. Glasses shattered, drawing gasps from the crowd. Victor reached for the USB, but Adebayo's men were faster, pinning him to the ground. Esther bolted, clutching the drive, and Amara acted on instinct. She chased her, weaving through the panicked crowd, her borrowed heels slipping on the polished floor. Esther reached the rooftop's edge, the city sprawling below. "Stay back," she shouted, the USB raised like a weapon. "You don't know what you're messing with." Amara stopped, her breath ragged. "Give it up, Esther. It's over." Esther laughed, bitter and sharp. "You think Adebayo's the hero? He's as dirty as the rest of us. You're just a pawn." Amara's heart wavered, but she thought of Chitty, of the house, of the life she could build. "Maybe," she said. "But I'm not invisible anymore." Adebayo's security team appeared, guns drawn. Esther's eyes darted, calculating. Then she tossed the USB over the edge. Amara gasped, but Adebayo's driver was already below, catching it in the alley. Esther cursed, her fight gone, as the team cuffed her. A month later, Amara stood outside a modest house in Lekki, Chitty at her side. His fever gone, his smile bright. The house was theirs, paid for by Adebayo's promise, along with a bank account for Chitty's university fees. The billionaire had kept his word, the recordings destroyed, his empire safe. But he'd warned her to stay silent. His eyes haunted by the cost of power. Amara's hands were still calloused, but her heart was lighter. She'd faced a billionaire's world and come out stronger, seen for the first time. In Lagos, where dreams and danger danced, she'd carved her own path. And as Chitty ran into their new home, she knew she'd do it again. For him, for herself, for the girl who was no longer invisible.